path for the tour marked out with yellow lines, so that we've got a kind of pedestrian area that we can see red buttons or anything like that. Because the only thing I can tell you is it'll definitely. Stage for whiskey, sorry, it's a bit loud up here. 7 tons of barley in each steep, and then we add 3 waters, and then drain in between each over about 2 to 3 and start the germination process, because we need to convert all the starch that's stored in the barley into usable sugars so that we can then make very tidy here today, but you can have a look at the barley if you like. You can see all the little roots starting.
So,
Little roots. And can you imagine how hard work that is?
Yes.
So they would get very bad repetitive strain injuries and also very overdeveloped muscles on one side. So thankfully we don't do that anymore, but they do, I don't know what they use these for these days, maybe they just keep them as props. So for the first 3 days we use this plough, which weighs an absolute ton, and I'm really glad it's not my job. So you'll see it's got very flat metal along the bottom, so it's really to scrape up from underneath. And what they do is they will go around the whole floor and pull and then tip to flick it. This is still manually done for the first 3 days. You can actually see how there's lines down because there's 3, I don't know what you would call them, prongs. So it weighs an absolute ton. So the men the next thing, again, we like a lot of high-tech stuff down here. Look, you can see the chute today.
wow.
We sweep it all down here.
Oh, so yeah.
Push it all in, and it goes right down to the bottom. At the sides because we want it to get a crust on the outside, and then that helps to keep the moisture in the middle. Because we, as I was saying about, we want really smoky fire, we want it to be nice and moist and oily, and we don't want it to be too dry. So we use about 1.5 tons of peat a day. The fires are not lit every day, as you see, so about 250 tons a year. We do this as environmentally friendly as possible, and then we put the top back on. So that means that you don't have, first of all, a big scar on the landscape. It saves the habitat for all the birds and other wildlife that would live in there, insects and things. And it also helps the regeneration of the peat, because if you just took all this off and left it, it would all dry out and it would harm it and it wouldn't regenerate as quickly. So basically they do reckon, having done various environmental impact studies, that they die for a while before they come down. So I'm sorry there's no fire today. It's not the best day for it, but there is quite a...
그렇게 미친 듯이 비 오더니.
Yeah, I know. Not for much longer, but yeah.
Quite busy. Questions? Anybody guess the streets on 30?
됐어요.
So the distillation here takes around about 5 hours. Line arm and the Laphroaig of the line arm goes up the way. Quite unusual. One day because it's a question that keeps coming up and it's like, I don't know, that's not my job. But ours are bourbon, used for bourbon previously, for a minimum of 3 years and 1 day. Oh, apparently the 1 day is to account for leap years. I don't really know if that's true, but that's what they say. And it must be at least 40% when it comes out, or it is not whiskey. Apparently, I've not actually looked it up, there is a list of about 100 restrictions on what it has to do to be a whiskey. About what we call marriages. But I'll tell you that later. So this is a... So the porter cask has the advantage that it's got a higher wood to liquid ratio, so it instills a lot more of the woody flavours more quickly, more strongly. And then we have the big sherry butts as well. So everything starts at this.
되게 발 아프네. 네네. 약간 오해했어 소리. 조금만 더.
So it's really managed to take.
못 찍었어. 찍었어? 찍고 있어요. 누가 찍어?
A bit more spicy and chili and pepper. 14 is a bit more floral, and 15 is mainly like salty and ivory. So they're all slightly different. So now we need a volunteer who wants to go first. Quick! Nobody ever wants to go first. What would you like?
I will try the beady. That's the beady one.
The low one. Good choice. Although, actually, having said good choice, I'm not sure there's a bad choice. Thank you.
Here, Michael, I can help.
Katie? Yes.
My bad.
Well, that's okay. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. Yes, sure. 14? Yes, please. To be bottled, which is what happens If it's married, it's the same distillery, and if it's blended, it's different.
Yes, family. Right. Yes. Run holiday, doesn't matter whatever it is.
So this is whiskey.
As long as there's whiskey and I'm not at a desk.
I'm going holiday tomorrow. Nice. If I can get off the island, because it looks very windy.
Uh-oh. Something exotic.
We're going to Lille to watch the Rugby World Cup.
Oh, that's cool.
Very exciting. Canada?
Yes.
Where?
What's the most exciting?
Well, I suppose Australia and New Zealand is as far away as you can get, really.
Okay,
but,
fair, yeah.
Yeah. I've never been. My sister's been to Australia. I have to.
It's on the to-do list.
Yeah.
Okay, I will have